Hello YouTubers! It's been a while. iPhone 4S was the last video that I did. The iPhone 4S. Dear. A lot's changed since then. I thought I would talk about my experiences with iOS 7 and how it's impacted my technology and what has happened as a result to upgrading. Now I'll try and keep this short and sweet, but whether that'll happen or not, I don't know. Right, so let's get started. iPad mini, still have. iPhone 4S, don't have. iPod Touch 5th Gen, don't have. I was happy with my devices, going my merry way. Everything was working perfectly, and then along comes iOS 7, and I thought, well, that does look good. Looks a lot like Android in some ways, so I thought I'll give it a go. The iPod Touch is the device that I ain't using as much, so I'll upgrade that. What a nightmare! What a nightmare! Crashes, which I sort of expected as it's a new release. Turned itself off a couple of times, but the worst thing was the battery drain. Everything I used, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, video camera, whatever it was, the battery drained horrendously. Then I found out later on, after factory resets and loads of other stuff, battery tweaks and all that, left it for 3 hours, came back to it, 30% battery drain. Did some more factory resets, more tweaks, tried everything I could, still 30% battery drain in standby mode. And I was like, what is going on? I tried to downgrade it, I couldn't because iOS 6 wasn't supported anymore, and basically I was stuck with it, and I was charging it more than I was using it, and it was a blinking nightmare. And I was like, what am I going to do? I can't even sell it because I'll have to sell it as a faulty product because it's just not worth it. And you know, it was just a nightmare. So as a last ditch attempt, I hooked it up to iTunes, got iTunes to reinstall 7.0.2 off the internet onto it, and that seemed to fix it. I left it overnight, no 30% battery drain in standby mode, so that seemed to sort it out. The only problem was it still had a battery drain, and it's the worst that I've ever had it, and it was just, you know, it wasn't becoming practical. I was charging it a lot, and it was getting a bit annoying. So then I started thinking, what about my iPhone 4S and my iPad mini? Because if at some point I will have to upgrade. So I looked at the iPhone 4S, and there were loads of horror stories. Wi-Fi's burning out, batteries not working, screens not working, loads of different stuff not working. I looked at the iPad mini, same thing, loads of problems, battery drain, all that sort of stuff. And I was like, man, this is a nightmare. Now, my sister's got the iPhone 4S, so I asked her about hers. She said she upgraded hers and she hasn't looked back, and that she's, it's actually working better. The battery life is better, the camera's better, everything's better. So I was like, oh, well, maybe I will upgrade. Maybe I'm being silly. Maybe this will be a good upgrade. So I talked to my brother. He's got the iPhone 5. He upgraded his. Pink lines when he takes photos. The battery life is not working properly. Basically, the same kind of nightmare as I had with my iPod Touch. And he's had to go back to O2, and I think he's going to get them to replace it. I just thought, man, I don't want to risk my iPhone 4S, because with my iPhone 4S, because it's second-hand, I don't have the same kind of warranty. So if anything goes wrong with it, then I might as well just chuck it away, because I couldn't rectify it. I couldn't send it off to get it replaced or anything. So I was like, what am I going to do? Because even though the iPod Touch is better now, it's still got pretty bad battery life. And if I upgrade any of my other two devices, is the same thing going to happen? And because of my experience with the iPod Touch, it put me off upgrading. I thought, well, if I will go back to Android, at least I know with Android, if I update and don't like it, I can then downgrade back to the original firmware, which you can't do with Apple products once you've gone and upgraded. I was having a look at the stuff, and I decided that I would trade up my iPhone 4S and my iPod Touch 5th Gen while they were still working. And I had an idea basically of getting the Galaxy S2 and maybe iPod Touch 4th Gen, because the 4th Gen, the specs of it isn't enough to upgrade to iOS 7, and there hasn't been an upgrade made available for the 4th Gen. So I thought, well, I only need an MP3 player and something to do my health apps. Maybe I'll be able to do that for a while. So I thought, that'd be a good thing to do. Just go to CEX, trade up, got a pretty good price, in-store credit. Had a look to see if they had any Galaxy S2s. They did, but they weren't in very good condition. They didn't have any iPod Touches, so I was like, oh, bum. I thought, well, I might as well use all the money to get a phone, and I was looking at Android devices, and I wanted something like the Galaxy S2, but with slightly better specs, but not a huge phone like the S3. And that's when I found the Galaxy S4 Mini. And I've got to say, I have been impressed with it. First impressions have been very good. The battery life is pretty good, 70% after 3 days of medium to light use. Texting is good. Call quality is pretty good. The cameras are good. You know, basically it reminds me a lot of the Galaxy S2, and I really like it. And I would say if you've had a Galaxy S2 and you're thinking of upgrading to the S4 Mini, then go for it, because it is a really nice device. So that's my phone sorted out, which I'm really happy with. But I was still left without an MP3 player stroke internet device. Didn't really have a lot of money left, and I couldn't find anywhere where there was cheap 4th gen iPod Touch. So I was like, well, what am I going to do? So I talked to my parents about it, and that's when my dad came along and he said, well, I've got an iPod Touch 4th gen. I'm not really using it. I've got another MP3 player. You can have my iPod Touch. And he gave me it, which I really appreciate. He's just brilliant. I just think that's excellent. So I've got my iPod Touch 4th gen 32 gig, which is brilliant. I thought the screen size would affect my decision to go back to it, but it hasn't, and the cameras, but it hasn't. It's like going back to an old mate. And at the moment, I can still use the apps on it, even though it is iOS 6. If it comes to a point where the apps don't work, then I'll have to decide what to do then. But at the moment, it is working all right, and I am a very happy chappy. I'm as happy as chips.
Not that I think they're very happy, because they do go through quite an ordeal to become chips. Yes.
So, I've got my Galaxy S4 Mini, which I'm really happy with, and the iPod Touch 4th gen, which I'm really happy with. So I don't lose the iPod Touch experience, and it still works on the internet and all that sort of stuff, so I am a happy bunny. So that leads me to the iPad Mini, which I don't really know what to do about, because I don't really want to upgrade it. It's on iOS 6 at the moment, and it keeps telling me it wants to upgrade to 7, but if I do that, I'm worried that the same thing will happen to it as did the iPod Touch. So I don't really want to upgrade it, but I don't really know what to do, because eventually, because I'm on the internet on it all the time, the apps are updating all the time, and there will come a point where I probably won't be able to use it unless I upgrade. When it comes to that point, I'm hoping that all of the problems with iOS 7 will be ironed out and that it will work okay on the iPad Mini. If it doesn't, then I will have to seriously consider switching to Android and maybe getting a Galaxy S Android device. I have noticed that there is a Galaxy S Android device which looks a lot like the iPad Mini. Whether it's going to be the same quality or not, I don't know. But that is a decision I'll have to make sometime in the future. At the moment, it's working perfectly, and that's the way I want it to stay. After all of that, you sort of get the impression I don't like iOS 7. Which, well, you'd be wrong, because I do like iOS 7. I like the layout of it. I like the control center. I like what they've done with that. I like what they've done with the camera and various other different things that they've done with it. I do like it. I do think it is a nice upgrade. The thing I don't like is that if your device goes wrong, you can't downgrade to what you had before. That is what I don't like. With the Android devices, you can go all over the shop as far as the firmwares are concerned. It could affect your warranty, but the fact of the matter is, if you upgrade to a version you don't like, you can downgrade to the version you had before and you're sorted. But with Apple, you can't. And that's the thing that sort of made me switch back to Android, because I just thought, I don't like the fact that if it doesn't work, I am then stuck with it. And that's why I got rid of my iPod Touch and my iPhone 4S, because I thought if my 4S noses up, then I might as well just chuck it, because I won't be able to do anything with it. Even though I do like the layout of the iOS 7, I did not like the battery drain on the iPod Touch, and that's why I went back to the 4th gen, because I knew that it wouldn't be upgraded to 7. If you're thinking about upgrading to iOS 7, I would say do your research, see how it affects other people on their devices, and maybe wait to hear what the 7.0.3 update has been like for people, and wait to see what 7.1 is going to be like. Because, you know, once you've upgraded, that is it. You're stuck. You can't downgrade after that. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to hold off until I'm 100% sure that iOS 7 will actually work properly on my iPad mini. If I was Apple, what I would do is say, if you're buying a new Apple device, like the iPhone 5C and S, or like the new iPads that are coming out, then it's on 7 and you can't change it. If you have an old device, then you can upgrade to 7, but we shall also make iOS 6 available to you, and maybe even iOS 5, so that if you're not happy with iOS 7, or your device isn't working properly with iOS 7, then you can downgrade back to what you were used to before, and you can use the old device. Now, one of the problems with that is that they would have to keep the security updates coming as far as the old iOS is concerned, which they're not doing at the moment, which I suppose could be a problem. Unlike Android, the apps, you know, it doesn't matter what version of Android you have, pretty much. There are apps that work in 2.2 and they also work in 4.2. You know, that's where Android is better. But I suppose it all comes down to what you prefer and what you're willing to put up with. But I do think it's a shame. I think that Apple should make iOS 6 available for the older devices, because some of them just don't seem to work right with iOS 7. But then, I'm not Apple, what can I do? So there you go. As far as I'm concerned, iOS 7 is a good upgrade, but with all of the problems that I've read and the issues that I've had, I would say that it's not ready yet. And I would say if you're going to update, just leave it for a while and wait until the bugs have been ironed out before you upgrade, because like I've said before, once you upgrade, that is it. You can't downgrade. And there isn't a jailbreak yet, I don't think. So once you've done it, you're stuck with it. It is a bit of a disappointment, and it's one of the reasons why I went to Android, because there is more freedom in Android, and I was really worried that the iPhone 4S would end up being ruined, which is a shame, because like I say, iOS 7 is a good iOS, and I think it is a good upgrade. I just don't think it's ready yet for the older devices. So there you go, that's my video. Sorry it's been a bit long. I've got it out eventually. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll do some more later on. Bye bye for now.